What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 18 of the Kind of Funny Games cast.
Now you know. See, it's bad. I tell them all
No,
the
it's a
time.
good thing.
Bad.
It's a good thing. We had to re-record this a second ago. Danny was really excited.
Danny
about
liked it the
He
first
thought
time,
it
but
was
then I
cool.
corrected him
He's
and
like,
told him no.
He's like, Tim, you should keep doing that. And I was like,
not
"Thanks,
exactly
Danny."
what he said.
That's exactly how they should.
I liked it.
They'll never know. So it's
true.
all good.
Thanks, Kevin.
Anyways,
Time's the charm.
Kevin's a great guy. I am Tim Gettys. I'm here with the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty, Greg Miller, and I'm going to add him in the coolest dudes.
Yes.
Danny O'Dwyer
Yeah.
from GameSpot.
What's going on?
Man.
How would
Also, videogames.com.
Also, videogames.com.
All right, so catching up, I found out that GameSpot was videogames.com when I first got the internet and then went on it thinking it was like AOL keyword search. You said you used to work at AOL.
I did. I used to work in sales and billing in Ireland, which is great because they don't actually have AOL in Ireland. So I don't know why the fuck.
Oh, because, yeah, it's America Online.
Exactly. America Online.
Did they call it anything different over there? They call it Ireland Online?
IOL. There was a company called IOL.
Shillelagh
for a while.
Online.
Yeah.
Four-leaf
Shillelagh
clover
Online. Darby
Lucky
O'Gill
Charm Online.
You can't get Lucky Charms in Ireland.
Well, no, because it's racist.
Yeah, it's like straight up
just like Craig.
offensive.
Wait, so when you say you were a billing guy at AOL, does that mean you were the guy that was trying to, like, people would call and try to cancel their subscription, and you would have to try to keep them, but you never could?
Yeah. Cancellations, it was the fucking most. 6 months of my life that I wish I could get back. It was horrible. Although on my last week, there was a lady who called up, a granny, an old grandmother who had like a student who lived in the house and had like signed up to AOL 5 years earlier, and she'd been billed every month for didn't she? Like looked at her bank balance and was like, I don't know what's online. I don't know what this is. So it was my second last day, so I like gave her back all.
Oh,
the cash.
wow,
It was
look at you.
Yeah, it was like $1,000.
You put AOL out of business. That was
I
the
did.
move.
It was you.
It's
1,000
sorry,
Ireland bucks she got back.
Exactly.
Now I have another quick question for you guys. Generally, do you remember? This was before YouTube, but it was like maybe 2005 or 2000 around there. So YouTube, you know, online video was the thing, but it wasn't really prevalent.
Dailymotion.
There was a guy there. Yes, there was a guy that recorded his conversation with AOL's billing to cancel a subscrition. It was like a half an hour thing. Do you guys remember this?
Oh yeah.
And like the guy ended up getting fired because like he refused basically to like cancel the guy's subscription. It was like an amazing. If people, I'm sure it's somewhere.
I saw it on E-Bombs World. That was
that's
what
it
it
was.
E-Bombs World was ahead of its time.
It was.
Remember emailing funny MP3s to people?
Oh yeah. I remember I've said it before. I remember downloading the MPEG of Conan O'Brien going to the episode 1 premiere, and it took like 5 days, like for me to download it. Like I just left my computer
The future.
on.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I remember I downloaded Christmas lights to put on the top of my monitor. It's like on the screen there'd be Christmas lights.
Oh, did you customize your desktop?
I did.
Good
yeah.
lord.
Yeah, and like,
I'm
Like
sure
the
so
all
many
the
viral
viruses.
gift thing.
Yeah.
Viruses of
A
just
MIDI
little
tool,
lights.
a MIDI Christmas carol behind it. I'm sure.
Yeah. My
That is
desktop's got a
amazing.
little animated person on it who I can click and they'll go woo, and I've
Yep.
got no RAM to run any games.
That's so awesome. Yes, so yesterday me and Nick went down to LA and we did this thing with Mega 64, which was fucking awesome. I don't know if you don't know Mega 64, but they're great. And they were telling us the story of their friend, or not friends, but they've worked with the people that stayed in line for all the Star Wars movies, like that were first in line. And they were saying that like, so Conan did stuff, and there was a bunch of other people that would come and like try to bribe them away.
Oh, really?
And they were just like, no. Like, we won't leave. And they ended up getting offered like $50,000
Jesus.
to leave their space in line. And they're like, you
like,
can't
no.
buy this experience.
A heartbeat.
You can't buy this experience. And they're like, you could literally
Buy
buy tomorrow the experience for you and all of your friends. Like, your own theater.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Nah. So they didn't do it.
Wow.
But yeah.
Dumb. That's called dumb.
Do you remember the guy at the front of the PS4 line in San Francisco?
No.
He was. I think someone paid him to be there.
Oh.
I think it was one of those situations.
Really?
So,
You think Sony paid him?
he didn't look like somebody who would necessarily be up for playing some hot PS4 launch titles.
He wasn't looking forward to Killzone Shadowfall.
No, I
Was
think
he,
was
was
learning
he a
forward to get-
Japanese gentleman in a tan blazer with a blue shirt?
Oh my god, it's him! It's him right there.
That's the man?
What?
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, the Kind of Funny Gamescast is a podcast that we do every week where we talk about video games. And it's great. You go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We break it out topic by topic Monday through Thursday. Friday, you get the full episode on YouTube or over on iTunes, and it's a great, beautiful thing. But if you want it early, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and get it early there.
Jesus.
Was that the best I've ever done?
That
doing
was the best you've ever
I was gonna say
entirely.
I was gonna say you're hitting your stride.
I try. I'm trying.
Now
We're
you're
turning the
hitting
ship around.
No, I wouldn't say that.
We've been the Gamescast has been unmoored for a long time.
Now I was reading. It's funny you say that. I was reading about ships the other night.
Of course, you
and
were.
about how ships are steered.
Relationship.
Well, Greg knows all about how ships are steered.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right
Greg,
there.
Greg has an idea. Well, he has this ship steered by his video game slaves.
Yes.
That are all there for some reason trying to protect Greg. I don't understand that.
President Team Fat.
But you know, the rudder or whatever just goes back and forth, and I didn't realize that like in like all these epic movies where they're like turning the wheel, it's just to keep it from not moving back to the center. It's like not. It's just over like after one spin of the wheel.
Yeah.
You're like spinning the wheel, and I'm getting all fucking emotive about it. I'm like, it's a little dramatic.
There's like resistance against the waves.
I don't
ride those
exactly know
waves.
if that's necessarily true. One of the things that I don't know if you guys knew about me is I'm not a sailor.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't
really?
know that. I would assume you are.
But you
You're
tie
really
me up so well.
skilled at things. Damn.
Well, that has nothing to do with this.
I was in casual carpool with a guy who was
What's
what
casual carpool?
Casual carpool is a thing when you live in East Bay and you want to get to San Francisco. You get in a stranger's car underneath the freeway, pay them $1, and then they drop you off at work because they get to use the carpool lane. But it's like rolling the dice on like what crazy motherfucker you're gonna have today. Some of them are like lovely people, some of them are nuts. This one dude was telling me all about taxation. You would have loved him. But one of the things he was pissed off about was his son was playing Assassin's Creed and he saw him like doing the boats and he was like, boats aren't that easy to maneuver. He's like, it's bullshit. He's just able to like fire the cannons and work against the waves and stuff. He was like, what's wrong? Because I mentioned I work in video games and that's what he went for straight away. He was like, you played that Assassin's game with the boats?
That's fucking awesome.
He pissed him off.
Sin used to do that, by the way. That's a thing that's been going on for a long time over.
Boat?
No, the casual.
Oh,
carpool thing?
I was
Yeah.
really lost on that one on where we were going. I didn't know what Sin. I'm like, boats?
No, Sin used to drive cars and complain about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, classic. Sounds like
he
all.
watches Des.
I do
play.
only half of that, which is to complain about Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed.
you don't
Sure,
do, you don't
sure,
do the
sure,
driving.
sure.
Well, Greg, so remember last week
How can I forget it?
when you got the show sponsored 3
Yeah.
times?
Oh, did you get it
by
sponsored?
the same. I did get it sponsored.
Is it the same person
I
3
got
times?
different people.
Oh, okay.
All right.
For real?
For real, for real. I mean, well, we
Okay.
got it's the same person as last week for the first one, but we're not doubling up in one episode. We got 2 different sponsors, which is awesome, and it makes my life a lot better. So, proflowers.com. Once again, I don't know if you guys are familiar with them last week because we did it 3 times. But we've heard a lot of good responses from these guys.
Yeah.
Our fans are loving this because their girlfriends are happy,
Yeah.
their wives are happy, their moms are gonna be happy on Mother's Day, and it's a whole great thing. So keep tweeting at me if you're using the codes and stuff, because if you use the code PATRON PATRON over at proflowers.com, you get 100 not free 100 blooms of flowers
Right.
with a
Whoa.
free vase. They give you a free vase with it.
Whoa.
For
That's
20
100
bucks, right?
flowers.
And these
dude.
are
It's 20
professional
bucks.
flowers.
These are
They're
these
pro
aren't
flowers.
these aren't the
Amateur
amateur
These are not
league
amateur
flowers.
No,
These
they're
are
not.
not amateur flowers.
Pro-am.
These are not
It's
AAA
great.
or
It's great.
AA flowers. These are major league flowers.
They're guaranteed to be fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days, which we can attest to.
Yeah, they sent us a beautiful bouquet, and they're still going.
And that's
Yeah.
what I want to talk about real quick. Stuff your ad up your ass for a second.
All right.
This thing comes from Pro Flowers. I was doing a live stream. Colin got all excited. He showed me the box, and then I walked out there and I saw the 100 blooms in the vase, right? And I was like, oh, this is the difference between a bloom and a flower. Because these are like all these like little buds and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's like artsy fartsy flower. I don't know anything about it. And then the next morning we woke up and these motherfuckers had exploded in color. Like for real, they were real flowers. Like, oh
And
damn,
it
that's a good
it
deal.
does have a note in there that says like, you know, remember that these have been in a box for 12 hours. I'm
Oh, yeah,
paraphrasing
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
then you have
dude,
to put in.
remember-
It's like, and the note says, bro,
Super
remember,
laid back.
Bruh.
put the flower food in there,
Yeah.
and put
Gotta
some
feed 'em.
water in there, and they'll perk right up. And they did.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
look
no,
really
that's
good.
no joke.
No,
And
this is
that's,
real.
That's no joke. They
Yeah.
said us wanted to celebrate our little campaign here.
And what's awesome about it is, so it was just me and Colin sitting at the table, and like he's pulling out of the box, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is the moment that I realize how much of a dude bro I am. Where I'm like, how do you do flowers? I don't know. And then
Because you just sent him to your former long distance girlfriend.
yeah, and then she dealt with it,
Yeah.
so that was great. But what was awesome here is there's actually instructions, and they're
course
super
there are.
simple and it's clear.
Yeah, it
But
took us
seeing
water.
Colin putting it together and stuff. It was awesome. But then now they're beautiful.
Yeah, it was
great.
It was. There was a moment, and this is a really happened because they're like all wrapped up. Like there's like a brick of like clay, like dirt, to kind of like for them to feed off of, and then the blooms are on the other side. But everything's covered up; you can't really see. And there's, at one point, Tim's like, "I think it's upside down," and I'm like, "Oh, you're right." And I turned
it was
I wish I
great.
could have been there.
But yeah, so you visit proflowers.com, you click the little blue microphone in the top right corner, and you type in patron, PATRON. And if you do that, you get the $100 blooms with a free vase for $20. For $10 more, you can get a premium vase and some chocolates.
premium vase that come with like a steel book and a, like
You
a
wear it on
art-
your wrist.
Probably not
book
Steelbook
and-
and the DLC character,
Yeah.
but
And we
you
can
get the
vouch
season pass.
We can
Yeah.
vouch for the chocolates as well because our friends at Pro Flowers did send us, the flowers as kind of a celebration of our campaign here, and they sent us the chocolates as well. And Cheryl and Christine went in on those.
I didn't realize
chocolates.
those were what those were.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, I knew they were chocolates. I didn't realize they were for grab chocolates.
Were they pro chocolates?
They were
They were
pro
pro
chocolates.
chocolates.
These were also pro
These are
chocolates.
semi-pro,
Yeah. Mhm.
semi-sweet.
Oh man, but it was good. All this is really good. You guys, Mother's Day is coming up. Make sure you get that done.
Treat
'cause-
mom well, huh?
Yeah. This deal expires on midnight on Friday.
Damn.
So
Of what week?
Yeah. What's the day?
of the
May
day
1st?
the
So
way
May
we record
8th.
the show is really
I
confusing,
know.
so I'm a little confused. But like it'll be
must
like
be May 8th,
whenever
right?
you're hearing it, it's this Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's after Mother's Day, in which case
And
it's not.
And Mother's Day has already happened in the UK, but that doesn't mean you can't just buy your mom some flowers.
See, I'm being really ignorant. Just buy some flowers.
porridge, did I?
Oh my god. But yeah, all right. So cool. So there we go. That was the first sponsorship. So thank you guys for supporting us through all this stuff.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and enjoy.
Now, topic number 1 for today, guys. It's E3.
Boom.
But
It's E3? Oh shit, what are we doing here?
Wait, no,
All right.
not yet.
I think we're in breach
the
of our contract.
topic is E3.
Oh.
Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. We're going to talk about a couple things here. One of them, the fact that Square Enix announced that they were going to do their own press conference this year, which is not unprecedented. They've done this before. This is now adding on to Bethesda and aforementioned before Ubisoft and
Yay.
EA, Activision, all that stuff that we already know. Of course, the classics. We got Nintendo, we got Sony, we got Microsoft. Do we need more of these third-party things? Is this necessary? Does Square need to have been doing this? And we're also going to talk about the fact that Kind of Funny is working with these guys over at GameSpot at
Oh
E3.
man.
So that's pretty exciting.
So to answer your first question, yes, there needs to be as many conferences as possible. So
yeah,
there's
so
something
we
to
can talk about it. But all right, let's go with that second part first. We're working with you at E3. How
what's up?
excited are you about this?
Pretty
I am.
excited about it. We've had 2 stages on the GameSpot E3 show floor for a couple of years now. It used to be 1 stage. And we expanded it out to 2 so we could have... I think we had a really bountiful year of like game coverage that year. We just needed 2 stages to get all these hot games on. And then the next year we didn't. And we still filled up those 2 stages. And then this year it was kind of like, oh, what are we going to do with these? You know, we bring it back down to 1 stage. And then lo and behold, I didn't know anything about this. They come to me and say, Kind of Funny, I'm going to take the 2nd stage. And it was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Because we can concentrate on our sort of like straight-laced, like information-based programming where it's like we're getting games that have been announced at the show. We're just going to demo them. We're going to talk to developers about them, get all the information we can and get it out to people as quickly as possible. And then you guys can basically like provide entertainment, get all your crazy fans and like the ridiculous people that sort of live within the games ecosystem and beyond, Cisco, for instance. Beyond, and you can have your own like entertainment-based stage, so it like works out perfectly. I can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
am
gonna be awesome.
really excited.
Here's
about
a
it.
question. You haven't seen you. You've been gone.
I
Things
have.
have been happening.
Yes.
Cisco confirmed he wants to be a part of this.
Cisco
The thong
confirmed.
song.
Cisco,
is,
the guy, not,
listening to this
not
right
the
now.
company that makes routers and shit.
yeah, he listens to the show.
We're talking about Cisco,
The rapper,
the dragon,
the musician.
the
Yeah.
thong song, man. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Now
about
here's where it gets where we need to have a serious Kind of Funny business discussion right now. Cisco is down to do this. Apparently, I'm talking to his assistant.
Great.
She's in. He's in. Do we want him for 1 day, or do we want Cisco for all 3 days? That is what we're being presented to. I'm thinking what we do is we get
so
Cisco
excited
a
about
pass. We say, Cisco, go see games. Check in every so often. This
Oh
he
my
just comes
God.
back and
Check in
tells us what he's seeing.
intermittently.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
We have Cisco for all 3 days, and we send him come back.
he just comes back.
What'd
And
you
he's
see,
like,
Cisco?
Dragon, what'd you see? And he just
Yeah.
lays it on us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
it.
All right, good.
Cisco, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet
I'm
Cisco.
gonna text his assistant.
It's
right
so
now.
funny that Cisco listens to the show and likes us, and because we love Cisco a great deal.
Yeah,
as well.
So much.
Danny
formative
knew the
years.
thong song back and forth,
Dude,
and I don't
ma-
mean like knew the song. I mean
Oh,
he
no,
like
no,
knew
no.
the video.
Oh
Yesterday.
yeah, the
Oh,
bit
yeah.
where he does the leg stomp and it shakes the camera.
And then he does
Fucking great.
the Jesus thing, but instead of running across water, he runs across
People!
women.
Women, yes.
What? Yes.
Cisco's in. We confirmed yesterday as well. Devin Saw was in.
Yeah. Well, he's in negotiations. All these people could easily
Yeah,
fall
yeah,
through,
yeah.
but all of them
Anytime.
have responded back.
through,
Yes,
Cisco.
I'd like to
But-
do
but
the show.
primarily
Chloe
the-
Dykstra, Sam Whitwer.
Well, I was gonna say primarily the point not the point, but primarily we're gonna be staffed with a lot of our fellow YouTube friends and internet personalities. Whatever. That's kind of the
Freddie
idea.
Wong?
GameSpot is gonna do the more traditional, see the games, and here's kind of the information you need in the games and developers you want to talk to. We can't outdo them, so why try? That's the whole premise of Kind of Funny is there's already people doing that shit properly and well, so we want to just interpret the news and interpret it with people. And what better way to interpret it than with our friends, from Epic Mealtime, for instance, or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rooster Teeth people.
Rooster Teeth, exactly.
And all this stuff.
We're
It's
gonna
gonna be so much fun. We're gonna have a party. That's how I keep
exactly.
talking
We're
about
bringing our dev friends too. All the devs are like, I want to go show their game and then just come out and shoot the shit and talk.
Yeah,
about
Mike
it.
Bithell said that he wanted to spend literally all 3 days with us.
Yeah,
And I told him he was welcome to do that.
He hangs out with that Japanese man in a tan blazer with a blue shirt.
Will he show up? Who knows? Anything can happen at GameSpot
Kind of
funny.
Man, I'll tell you what, you nailed the opening.
Yeah, you know what? I practiced. Here's the thing, Greg.
Yeah.
Yesterday we did, for the first time ever for me, one of those all-day LA trips
Sure.
where it's like 4 a.m. flight down there and then midnight flight back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right.
Now you know how
The
the other half
entire
lives.
flight, I was practicing that intro.
Damn.
And
You're like, and then you're just like, from there,
And then I just
takes
forgot.
care of itself.
I forgot I was sleeping and forgot everything. But anyways, yeah.
the ball
So
rolling.
I'm happy about
This
this.
is a good show. You did good. This is a good
I'm
one.
happy about it. Yeah,
Solid.
Kinda
I'm
funny
really
Gamescast.
excited for E3 though, because I think that this is going to be something very different than what people are used to seeing from GameSpot or
Yeah.
IGN or all these things where people are used to seeing us.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that same old.
That's like a
gonna
completely
be-
different
yeah.
act for you guys around. Like we were talking earlier about like what it's like reporting on the show floor where you're literally like running to appointments
it's a
and
nightmare.
just writing down stuff. and,
complete
like,
nightmare
It's
scenario.
like you'll actually be able to
Yeah, I ain't
enjoy
lying.
E3 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said on Colin and Greg is that a lot of people have been like so much for Colin's relaxing E3 because I've been talking about that, but it's like we've been talking about this for months behind the scenes, and this will be a much more relaxing and much more fun E3 than I am accomed.
And
That much I can guarantee.
Our booth's
Yeah,
in a
for
great
sure.
spot as well. It's
It
right
always
beside
is.
where you guys used to be.
Yeah, and it's great. And that's the thing is, I think this is the first time ever, and I could be wrong about this, but it's the first time ever that there's going to be like a live stream from the show floor that isn't just either like
Show your game. Show your game.
like showing a game like dev stuff, or actual like crazy, let's have a Ubisoft dance party or whatever. This is actually just going to be, hey, we're a bunch of dudes talking
Hang out.
about games and talking about cool stuff. Come, let's have fun and do dumb
We're going to be
things.
doing the whole rubberneck and be like, oh, well, they're seeing whatever game. They're seeing Uncharted 4 over there. You should probably click over and go watch
Yeah,
them. We're going to do
that'll
the
be
same
fun.
thing, and we'll sit there in silence and watch their shit.
I'll be like,
that
Cisco's
should
talking
totally-
about Rock Band again. Fucking.
All right, Cisco, it's day 2. We asked you to go see as many games as possible. You just keep coming back with different Rock Band games. You see a different Rock Band.
Let me
songs
tell you
to
about
play.
Bravely Second. I want to see him like just go out there and pick up the most like obscure ass game that he like mechanically complex.
Behind closed doors, they
role-playing.
are showing Ni no Kuni 2. Let me tell you about it.
All right, well, speaking of JRPGs and stuff like that with Ni no Kuni,
Yeah.
Squaresoft.
Do you say
Oh,
JRP
wow.
Jesus?
No.
I didn't, but I like
JRP
that
Jesus?
JRPG Jesus.
too. Yeah,
Squaresoft, you said,
Squaresoft,
too.
Yeah, I did. Man.
Good
Hasn't
memories.
existed
Damn
in
time
12
zone.
years, but yeah. It's,
All right, so Square Enix is having their press conference. What do you guys feel about this?
I don't know. I don't think that I understand why Bethesda's doing it. I'm not gonna presume that Square is copying Bethesda because a lot of thought and planning goes into this kind of thing, but it does kind of seem like an afterthought to have announced it this early, or this late rather. But that said, I'm sure this was probably planned in the cards for a while. Here's the problem with everyone doing their own conference now. Again, is that this dilutes the ability of third parties to make meaningful appearances at the conferences that actually really matter,
Yeah.
which are Microsoft's and Sony's. So, like, we're gonna see Far Cry 5 or whatever. We're gonna see Assassin's Creed or whatever, and then they're gonna show it again. You know, and now with Square, it's like they're gonna show Final Fantasy 15 probably at PS4s and their own, and like different kinds. And I'm like, why? You know, like I don't, unless Square has something really substantive to say, and I'm kind of doubting that they do compared to what I think Bethesda's going to announce.
Yeah.
It seems like it might be a bit of a letdown, but I hope that I'm wrong. You know, because clearly they're going to talk about Final Fantasy 15 and how it's clearly not going to come out this year, and Kingdom Hearts 3, which is clearly not going to come out next year.
They're going to open with Goofy walking out.
Goofy
Oh, y'all motherfuckers doubted me.
That would be awesome.
I'm back in. I'm back in.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But hopefully they have, you know, some new announcements, some fresh announcements, and you know, here's the funny thing, Tim, about Square Enix's kind of stage show as opposed to Bethesda's, where it's clearly obvious what they're going to talk about. What are they going to say, and like what kind of crazy? I was thinking about it, like, are they going to like what does fanboy Colin want them to announce? Like, Parasite Eve? or something like crazy, or something totally off the a Chrono game or something like that. Like there has to be something more than Final Fantasy 15 and something more than Kingdom Hearts, or this is gonna be a letdown. Also, they published Tomb Raider and all that kind of shit.
I was about to say they're gonna
yeah.
show Tomb Raider, right?
Yeah, but then they're gonna show this is exactly
gonna be
the point.
that
Because then it'll be a
conference.
Microsoft's
Yeah.
conference, and it's like well, clearly, so it's like why?
Because then they can get the double dip, right? And then you figure at your own show, you can go more in depth than you can at Microsoft or whatever. You can show the 5-minute demo there and the 20-minute demo at Square, or vice versa. You know
Or
what
like
I mean?
single player demo with this, and then multiplayer demo. At one
Don't
of
get me wrong,
the-
I hate it too. I think it's stupid, but it's just like it's everybody trying to compete, everybody trying to act like their dick's bigger than everybody else's dick.
Yeah, and being able to like control your own message is a really important
Right,
thing for like PR. So they like to be able to say, all right, we've got like this much time to talk about whatever we want, not just like last minute changes all the way, till the final day before Sony's conference or something. But yeah, that is the problem. It's like it's the problem with EA and Ubisoft at the moment already is like we know most of the stuff before they even get to their conferences. So like in a way, Nintendo now just becomes its own little world again. Like I know they're not doing a conference, they're doing one of their directs again, but like that's the only spot where you're actually going to get information that won't turn up anywhere else at all.
Yeah, that's a great point.
The rest of them are all just going to be like I'm totally with you. Like the Bethesda one, you can name off like 4 or 5 games that they could talk about which are going to be interesting, and the one game that they could do a whole conference about and everyone would be happy.
And I think 2 games that they are absolutely going to talk about, which is Fallout 4 and Doom. So it's like
You don't think Dishonored's a guarantee?
I think Dishonored's probably going to be there, but I don't think that's what's really going to matter.
Yeah.
If they're like Doom, I fucking love Doom, so I'm like really excited to see. It's a full circle kind of thing for me because my first E3 was 2004, and that was when Doom 3 was there, and that was like one of the first games I was ever really excited to play, and that was one of the first games I ever played really early. And I remember getting, with the IGN guys, we were able to get in front of the line. It was that was a great E3 for me. Just was like, wow, this is so cool. And same Resident Evil 4 was there too, that E3. So to see like Doom is so exciting, and see what I just talked about face. What it could do with
Andrea Renee, we call it.
what it could do without its founders there now at all, and like kind of a new team, and how this game has kind of been drawn out for a long time is really exciting. But my hope for Bethesda too, because I think maybe Prey will be all right. Fallout 4 is absolutely going to be there.
I don't think riot and burn the place down if there is none.
There's no way that Fallout 4 or whatever they call it is going to be at that. There's no way that that's not going to be there. It's impossible. Can you imagine that?
I would
like. I don't like. There's no way. Everyone like.
I was so sure that they were going to do it last year that I'm almost convinced now that they were going to announce on one of those stages, didn't, so they could do this year. And then there are so many rumors about it coming out, like that this might be a super quick turnaround thing, that like
the Colin plan.
Yeah, like that just lays credence to that again. Like they've just been sitting on this, and
oh yeah,
they're going to announce it. And they could announce it before this conference.
I think the game, and we've said it before, we won't belabor it. Is this? I think the games are probably already internally in alpha. Like I think the game's probably pretty done. I think that like now they're polishing and they're fixing and they're translating and they're QAing and all those kinds of things. They've been working on this game for a very long time.
Well, that team's been free since Skyrim was released.
Yeah.
So like they've been working on something for a long time. Yeah.
And presumably we don't. Bethesda Game Studio is pretty secretive. We don't know how they've scaled up and how many teams they have, and like if they've spun off some of their guys to work on Skyrim DLC while they were making this new game with presumably a new engine, presumably next gen only or this gen only. There's a lot to be excited about, and that's the difference between, and maybe it's just me speaking in for my personal preferences, and probably is why I'm much more excited about Bethesda than Square Enix, is because I'm just much more excited about Bethesda's games, because Bethesda's games are just much better.
Yeah.
So it's just like, at least recently, it's sad to say that Square has fallen that far from grace.
And Bethesda seem to have their communications in order a lot more than Square do. Like even yesterday, I think they announced that they had like a patched version of the demo going live. Like, why are they patching demos? They just I don't trust them to put on a conference that will be like. I'm not saying it'll end up being like the Konami conferences of old or something.
Those were so awesome.
But you don't know. Like it could end up just being like Tak Fuji. Sadly, no longer doing conferences.
I the one cool thing about what Square is doing with Final Fantasy 15, though, with Duske or whatever, is they did release all of that data, which we went over on Colin and Greg Live yesterday, about like everything that people hated in the game and like, what they're and in the order that they hated them, which I thought was even like funny.
And
like,
by the region.
Like people complain about this the most, and then this the second most, and like. And then Tabata like had something to say about each of them and how they're fixing them, and I thought that was pretty cool and very unsquare.
Yeah.
And a lot of moves they're making are very unsquare lately, which makes me seem like they're actually learning a great deal. But one of the things that I felt very vindicated was everyone hated that blonde guy's voice acting. Fucking told you.
So what do you think they could do to make it worth the press conference? Like to me, I think release dates would be a
Yeah, they have to
yeah.
have a release date. And,
and I think you will get a release date. Yeah, don't you think?
For 15?
A 15 release date. I mean, people are dreaming if they think Kingdom Hearts 3 is anywhere near being done. It's not. So, and I hope I'm wrong because I know how excited people are about that. But I've said it before. That's a 2017 game, I think, and I think that Final Fantasy 15 is a 2015 or 2016 game, and I think it's probably spring, maybe around this time. And so maybe it'll be cool for them to announce, April 17th, whatever. That's the date, and show like a new portion of the game. But the way they're talking about Final Fantasy 15 and what they're learning from the demo is that they're going in and fixing shit, and that is not going to be a minor.
It's not gonna be a
that's not just a minor kind of trivial academic thing they're doing. Like they were talking about things like camera and targeting and all these kinds of things. These are things that need to be programmed and honed and redone. And someone was telling me on Twitter, I don't know if it's true or not, that like the voice acting even is placeholder. Like they were talking specifically about how the blonde guy or whatever that just the voice acting is so bad, like comically bad, especially because the other three guys were fine. So like there's a lot of work to be done, and I think it's better that they take their time with this and do it right.
Do you think there's any chance to get a Kingdom Hearts 3 release date, even if it is?
No, but I think I don't think you'll get a release date, but it would be smart for them to say it's not coming this year and finally put people out of their misery.
And if they say release date,
2017.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they can't be.
Or 2016 if it's a fall game maybe.
So I'm a little hazy on this, but I remember back when the PS4 was first announced and that February event.
Yeah.
The Square guy came out and he said something.
Please be excited for E3.
Yeah.
Deep down.
And then.
Oh no, that's Capcom. Sorry.
The Square guy.
Oh no, I'm thinking. I'm sorry, but I was thinking about. Oh no, with Deep Down. I thought that's what you're talking about.
No, sorry. Then at E3, then they showed that like tech demo Final Fantasy game. What I don't remember.
Agnes Philosophy.
Agnes Philosophy. Yeah. And was that just a graphic demo thing, or do you think we'll see something from that?
It could be. I mean, it reminds me a great deal. Greg and I have talked about this, and I don't know how Greg and Danny feel about this now, but it reminds me a great deal about the way Quantic Dream does things, where they'll release a demo, a graphical or engine demo that ends up being spun into a new game. And so we saw that with Heavy Rain, and
with that girl at the table.
Yeah, the acting read. Yeah.
And I think that Casting Call, whatever that thing was called.
Yeah, that was what it was.
And I think that what we saw from Quantic at PS4's reveal, for instance, with Kara is probably going to be their next game. So, and I think the game might be called Singularity or something. I don't know. Like there was all these leaks
Singularity.
Yeah,
Raven will come out of hibernation swinging if that happens.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. There's all sorts of rumors about what they're doing, but I bring that up just because I think they're probably maybe going to do a similar attack. There's a lot.
I'd be excited for that though. That looked really cool. Like I don't know if it needs to be a Final Fantasy game though. Like if that was like some new franchise or whatever, I'd be into it.
They need some new IP, and it's not to say they don't have new IP. It's just that they like Bravely is a new IP that's doing very well, and they're bringing out another one. But they could use a new AAA IP on console that differentiates itself from Final Fantasy in a more substantive way, because a lot of people like me, I mean, like some people give me shit, but like I am not. I feel like it's more rare to be a Final Fantasy fan than not around this time, and like I think that Final Fantasy fans are somewhat of a dying breed, and I think that Square knows that it's their fault that that's happening, and that they need to reinvigorate. The thing I'm most curious about are two things with Square Enix. They'll show Dragon Quest Heroes probably, which is the Musou game being done by Omega Force that I don't really care about. The bigger thing that they've been quiet about is Dragon Quest 11 and like what that will mean, and that's going to be a significant game, especially in Japan. Significant, and I think that they have to win a lot of hearts and minds back with that as well, because Dragon Quest 10 puzzlingly was an MMO. So I think that could be the wild card. Is Dragon Quest 11. The thing is that seems like a thing you might want to show Japan first. But E3 is global, and they have to show something. And it's got to be more than 5. It's got to be more than 15 in Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, if that's all they really have, then this is really a waste of time. They should just go to PlayStation and do it there.
Yeah.
And they probably will anyway. So, and then do Tomb Raider at Microsoft and just be done with it. So, the other thing that's not trivial is the cost of doing something like this. So again, they have to have a plan, and so Dragon Quest 11 would be my prediction.
There's always the possibility that they just didn't get the time they wanted at those big conferences as well.
Also
true. Like blocking them off, and then they realize, you know what, actually, we've got 3 or 4 games that we want to show off that they're not going to give us the time to do it, so they just end up ponying up and getting a bit...
you're bumping us for No Man's Sky? Like, people are interested in that game. See you later.
They better not, that's the thing. Sony better not show that game again. Like they let them finish the game now. Like stop showing it because it makes it seem like it's so much more imminent than it is. The game is not even close to being.
No, it's no like people. It's still on like people have it listed for this year. Like there's no chance.
No
like
way.
and Sean and the guys. I talked to them at the PlayStation Experience. They made a very real commitment to being like, okay, we're going to get out of the public eye now because people are a little bit too fervent about when they think this might be coming out. Sean had like been pushed onto like he genuinely hates doing those conferences. Like that whole like humble thing isn't an act. Like he is loveliest guy in the world and he gets terrified doing that stuff. So they were very much like, all right, we're not contacting anyone for a little while. I think they've got something to announce later on the summer or something. Hopefully something like a release date, but I don't really expect them to be at E3 or at least not on the Sony stage.
Cool. So, second topic of the day is Konami and all its ridiculousness.
Oh, no.
Taking down PT, all this stuff.
I just snagged it.
Did you get
On
to
my
your
phone,
app?
I just
Look at
got
that.
it. Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
2015, everybody.
So wait, how does that work? You add it to your download queue.
Yeah, it's downloading on my home right now.
But okay.
You
if
have to
I-
redeem it is all. That's all, yeah.
But if I added it to my queue like yesterday,
Uh-huh.
but I haven't been able to use my PS4.
Okay.
Am I screwed?
I think
My PS4 is off, so it's not doing.
The auto download stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to download it. You
Well,
just
is
have
the
to,
are they
check out, you know?
ripping it from the entire? They're just taking it off the store in
Yes.
terms of being able purchasable. It's still, if you own it, it should still be there in the background, correct?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
no?
yeah. If it's downloaded on your system, it's there, but you can never download it again.
Okay, so
Oh,
they are
really?
just
Oh,
whitewashing it from the store. So you're
Yeah.
fucked. Yeah.
Well, okay, when's it done? When's it off?
It's supposed to be off
Sometime
today.
Today?
Yeah.
Just
But you have to understand that I don't even think Sony understands how PSN works. So like whether or not they're going to be able to go in there and actually remove that game remains to be seen. I'm sure it's something that Konami wants to do. And they probably have a legal right in their contracts to do it. And games have been removed from PSN completely before, as we've talked about. They've been scrubbed completely. Like
Dude,
TNT.
I was trying to buy Mortal Kombat last week, and the only version that was on the store for at least 2 hours was the like special edition $90 version.
And you're like,
and I was like
no.
kept refreshing, and then eventually you're like, oh, there it is. Yeah, I can get it now.
Yeah, PSN's a jumbled mess of whatever.
John Drake's over there staring at it. He's like, I don't know what to do with
I
this
don't
server.
even know. All right, before we get into all of that, our second sponsorship for the day is Warby Parker.
Oh.
They're a new concept in eyewear, contemporary eyeglasses that are extremely affordable and fashion forward. Have you guys heard of them? Used them?
Are those them right now? That you're
No.
using? Oh, okay.
We were just all touching our glasses.
Sorry.
I thought
Do
we were
you
doing that
use
Contact
glasses
lenses.
at all?
Contacts.
So
No.
I use contacts as well.
Yeah.
But I also need to wear glasses like at home and shit.
No, I was used to wear glasses, but then I became the face of GameSpot, and
you're
then
like,
we
I
needed
can't
to
be doing all
differentiate away from
God,
this guy.
your face looks just
So,
like that guy's
yeah,
face.
Yeah.
If you just got some more gray hair, we might be okay.
That'd
I'm
that'd
working on it.
Yeah.
No, here's the deal with this: is that as part either of this deal or whatever through our MCN, they reached out to us and have Colin and I doing it. So I've gone through and picked my 5 frames. They haven't been shipped to me yet because Colin's dragging his feet.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
that's-
Well, no, I went to do it last night actually, and I was like, I need to find my prescription because I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
what my
Yeah.
prescription is for my lenses.
One of the guys in GameSpot uses this service. Actually, I've seen it in the office. He was picking through them.
Yeah, their whole deal is that they're like cheap glasses that are like with fashion in mind and like trying to make it look nice, and it's for prescription glasses and all that stuff, and it's trying to keep those down because glasses are expensive.
Yeah, they're
man.
really
Like,
expensive.
frames when you go to like the mall places and you're looking at all of them, it's
LensCrafters.
like hundreds of dollars, and it's
Yeah.
just like why? And it's just there's this whole system they got in
Rigmarole.
place and all that stuff.
system.
It's because
Oh,
the insurance
damn
is my
system.
thing. Because I think these were like $300, but then like your insurance
Yeah.
covers 150, so then you just have to cover 150. You're like 150
Yeah.
isn't that bad.
But it's all designed that way.
No, I
You
know,
what
I know.
mean?
The
So, like,
system-
that's a
The
problem.
system
But
is designed to screw you and keep you sick. Let me tell you about the government.
oh my god. But I got a lot of friends that use this stuff. A lot of our friends over at Rooster Teeth have it. Like Erin Zek, she uses it all the time, and Meg Turney and stuff. They use them, and like they use them not even just from the because of Rooster Teeth. They use it just for their own personal stuff.
'Cause
Like,
they're
they buy
fashionable.
'em, and they're awesome. Like they look good. They're good looking glasses. And if you want to look good on Instagram, you gotta get them. You take all the selfies and stuff. You get all the likes. It'll be great for your career. I'm telling you. So okay, Warby Parker is the new way to shop for eyewear. They got the coolest selection of vintage inspired glasses, and they're all available to you online. So you just got to go online and you can choose the ones you want, and you can choose 5 of them. They'll send the frames to you, so you can try them on.
Do they have those ones?
They don't have those. We can email them and ask them to work on that though. So they start at $95. Their titanium collection starts at $145. If your titanium collection starts at $145 for glasses, that's pretty
This is
good.
what Rihanna's saying about it.
Are they
Yeah.
Are the titanium
What's that,
collections
Leo?
so light that you barely know they're there?
Yeah,
Like
but
the-
they're
like the-
so sharp you can shank someone if they
Right.
try and steal your glasses.
I can't confirm either of those.
Who was it
things.
if it wasn't Rihanna? She sings every song.
Titanium?
I am titanium.
I don't know why I looked at Kevin to answer.
We're gonna get a copyright strike.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. I don't remember, but it was
too
not,
accurate.
It was not Rihanna. So yeah, you can order 5 pairs to try them on. There's no obligation to buy it. So if you don't like any of them, you can just return it. And if you want to support the show right now, you can go to warbyparker.com/KFGames. That's KFGAMES. And you can receive
Kentucky Fried Games.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
It's either that or kind of funny. I'm pretty sure it's Kentucky Fried though. You'll receive a free expedited 3-day air shipping. So that's awesome. You order 5, get them in 3 days, try them on, take a bunch of Instagram pictures, see which ones you like.
Try all of them on the same time.
Yeah, you could. I don't
Nothing's stopping you. This is a free country. That's why I moved here.
Now, how do you spell the full URL?
The full URL is because Warby Parker's. I mean, you'll see it here. Kevin's gonna put it because he's a good dude. It is warbyparker.com/KFGames.
warbyparker.com/KFGames. Very cool, very cool. And his glasses wear, I appreciate the kind of fluidity of the whole thing about the choice and all of that, because glasses are expensive. People always comment about how much they like these frames and the other frames that I wear. And the fact is it's true. Like these frames are like $400 and something, you know, and they're nice. They're beautiful glasses.
They are.
But like, and my other ones were expensive too. But it's to Greg's point. It's like because insurance covers so much of them, you don't quite realize how expensive some of these things are, and lenses and all that kind of shit and that whole. And so I think especially if you don't have insurance and stuff like that, this seems like a pretty affordable.
I also really hate trying on glasses in the optician's place. I just don't like it.
That's pressure,
man. Yeah, there's like it's a real kind of sales heavy situation.
Yeah, they're walking around, they're watching.
Yeah, like oh, you like this? Yeah, and they got those little stupid ass mirrors that are like all fucking barely fit your head in it. So like being able to do it in the comfort of your own home, just put them on.
You get to try it on with your clothes and stuff, and see what,
or
like,
without your clothes.
That's true.
Perfect, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
But with different clothes and stuff, like I care about these things. Like to me, glasses, it's an accessory. I like watches. I like my shoes. I like all this stuff, and I want to know what it looks like with the outfits that I wear every day. So I like this. I'm all
or
about
naked.
This. Or naked, yeah. Well, you need to know because you need to be able to see when.
That's why I hate to go to the optometrist because I go naked and
they're like all upset about
Please
it.
get out,
they
sir.
You're like, I need to know what I look like this and everything.
All right, guys, warbyparker.com/KFGames. Definitely check it out. Let us know what you think about it. But now back to it, Konami.
Thank you. Oh,
Konami.
What?
Shia, S-I-A. That's the female vocalist in Titanium.
Sia.
Shia LaBeouf.
The song's by Sia.
Yeah, I guess according to what I was able to dig up on Wikipedia, and I doubt that's wrong. You don't search it.
All right,
you don't have time to search it.
I'm not going to. Konami. We're talking about Konami here. So, Colin, I know you have a lot of thoughts about this.
Yeah, I know. I
Specifically
really
the whole Kojima. We got the Kojima stuff. Let's get the PT talk out of the way.
Yeah.
Should they take it off, or should they just leave it?
Yeah, it's a demo for a game. So I mean, the whole thing was to find that the whole idea of PT was to find that if you could beat it properly, that it's a demo for a real game. So it makes sense for them to take it down since the game's canceled.
Just patch it. Patch it like they patch Devil May Cry. So instead of it being like, yeah, we're going to make another one, it just goes, nope, this is probably the last one of these we're going to get to make.
Norman Reedus is just like, thanks for not
thanks
happening.
for playing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're doing it. It's sad. It's too bad, you know, because eventually PT is one of those examples of if you, like we were talking about with, I think we were just talking about it with digital games versus retail games last week, or physical games, about how, well, emulation and all these kinds of things lets these games live in perpetuity, but will PT just kind of disappear in 100 years forever? Like, is it something that, is it going to be a lost game like these mainframe games we were talking about on Colin and Greg Live yesterday? I don't know, but I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah,
I mean that's the least of everyone's.
But
concern.
that's the thing right now. Like, it's been so much turmoil behind this whole Kojima Konami thing. What's really happening? What's not happening? People talking. They're scrubbing his name. The ill will they were already engendering now. Like, and also we're taking on that game you all fucking love, and like we're breaking your hearts and telling you it's canceled and all this other stuff. It's like, man, Konami's in a shitstorm right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sucks for them.
It does, man. I feel really bad about it too, because I love Metal Gear, and I was very interested in Silent Hills, and it's just like, man, this is just, they got nothing anymore.
So how much is it though you feel bad and you're interested in Metal Gear and Silent Hills? How much of it is though you're interested in what Kojima does and you'll just follow him rather than Konami?
I mean, that's 100% it.
Yeah, right.
I didn't care about Silent Hills.
Yeah,
or Silent
but it is
Hill.
sad to see like this company who's been around making games since whatever, like early 70s, when they started making like arcade machines, and then eventually sort of accidentally went into the software world. Like, they've been around forever. So it's kind of disappointing to see, like, in the space of a month, like when Peter broke the story about Kojima on GameSpot last month. Like, since then, it's just been a like number of these things, one after the other, and they're like game stuff. Like, I think it retracted by 5% in the third quarter of last year, whereas their like arcade stuff, their pachinko business is getting bigger. Like this isn't like a normal game developer here in the West. Like a lot of like the Japanese companies have got like way more diverse portfolios, and they have their weird business in like health spas, and they have their gambling stuff and the pachinko and whatnot. Like it just kind of looks really disappointing, as if they're like slowly just stepping away, and that.
And that's the interesting thing for a consumer right now, especially on the eve for the launch of Metal Gear, right? Is like what is the average gamer taking away from this right now? They're delisting themselves on the stock exchange and stuff, and this is like the shit that the last time you heard about this kind of crap was THQ going bankrupt and stuff. So like that's the vein you start to think in it. But is it just they're realigning themselves corporately? They're getting out of software. They're gonna say goodbye to PES and let FIFA rule the day. And
yeah, see, that's in a way it's like it's not a bad time for them to do it, because the Metal Gear fans, this is hopefully going to close the loop on that whole narrative. So it's kind of done, and like fans of Kojima, I love those games, but I want him to make something else.
Yeah,
he said he was quitting Metal Gear games about 4 Metal Gear.
I was gonna say he says that every Metal Gear game, right?
So like sounds like he's finally getting pushed out of the way. Like the PT was really interesting. I would have liked seeing a new Silent Hill, but I can live without another Silent Hill if he gets to do something else. Yeah, and Pro Evolution's a cool game. Like I buy both games every year, but you know, FIFA's got it.
PT was just so different. You know what I mean? Not being a huge survival horror fan, never really getting into the Silent Hills before, or Silent Hill games before. Like playing this one like first person, like I was never like trying to be in combat with anything, right? You're just like, and I know there's a scare around the corner, but trying to piece it all together, and I'm playing in a dark room, and I'm getting. It was like that's so fucking cool. And then apparently Guillermo del Toro is just the kiss of death for any video game or any company that's publishing his video game. You know what I mean? It's just
Valve are still doing okay, but that's about it probably.
It's just crazy to see a company that once had press conferences at E3 every year now be here. You know what I mean? Like Konami is like, I always remember growing up and it being like one of the big five. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like, and it was definitely a huge thing. And now to see him essentially just backing out completely, and it's really crazy. But the other thing is the only reason that we're noticing all this because there was that one news story, so then all the other things are latching on, they're looking for all this, and so it just kind of like avalanches from there, and it just seems like a bigger deal.
Yeah, like if they pulled out of the stock exchange, would anyone care? Yeah. Also, what does that mean? Like, none of us are economists. Yeah, like it seems like most of their, I think like something like I did some reading on it during the week. I think something like less than 1% of their like equity is in North America anyway. Like it's all in Japan, so it just they were saying like it's not really feasible that much for us to be open. Like it's still you can still run it. It's just not on the open exchange. So yeah, like maybe you're right. Maybe there is a bit of like confirmation bias happening with some of this, but just with the Kojima stuff, that looks pretty damning to see, like him getting kicked out, all that stuff getting rebranded, like even the one down in LA, all the Kojima production stuff has changed. I think the one part of this that people care about is what's happening to Metal Gear. Yeah, and once that game comes out, what will Konami do next? Anything or nothing, because they've nothing else really to show for. You know, PES makes them more money than Metal Gear does. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, PES sells very well. Yeah, I read into it the same thing with the New York Stock Exchange thing. They're still on the stock exchange in London, and Tokyo obviously would be their most important place, and they're still vibrant there. I mean, you're right in the sense when you go to Japan, we've been to Japan, and you see Konami signs everywhere, and what you realize is that it has nothing to do with games. It's like their spas and their gyms and all these kinds of things, and their gambling and all these kinds of things. Like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people have been saying something interesting about this recently, which is maybe Konami is being really smart. Like they're not. They have like a real estate business and shit. Like they have like all of this random stuff. Like and maybe the number crunchers there, the bean counters, and like all of the executives are like, we don't really make any money here. Like why are we even doing this? Like we have all these other things where we make money, as you were saying. There's a more profitable way to run our business, and we have stockholders, and we want to make money. So like, are we gonna make money making traditional software? Or are we gonna make money making pachinko machines and all this kind of stuff? And they're probably saying like, maybe we need to scale back. The reason that we should be scared as gamers about this is because they're locking up a lot of IP, presumably. And Metal Gear is important, but the one I care about the most is Castlevania. And watching Mercury Steam with that 3DS game and Lords of Shadow 2 just take a fucking shit down Castlevania's throat was a really sad way to see. Was really a sad way to see that series maybe end. You know what I mean? And what
is it? Simon Belmont you see getting?
No, I see Mercury Steam is like a big machine, a robot that's shitting down, an open cases.
Dracula?
It's an amalgam of cartridges and discs and instruction manuals.
Thank you.
Splattering all over. Yeah.
And so that was really sad to see. But the writing's been on the wall with Konami for a long time. And like anyone who's played games for a long time knows that this company has been on a steep decline. And the Kojima thing's salient and important because Kojima is Konami. And without Kojima, they have nothing. You know? They don't have Koji Igarashi anymore. They do not have Kojima now. So the two people that were in charge of their two biggest franchises are gone. So why you should have any faith that, like, we already saw what happened to Castlevania when no one's minding it. You know? It turns into shit. And then we are going to see probably in 5 years what happens to Metal Gear when Kojima's not involved in it. And I'm not saying Metal Gear is like my favorite franchise anymore because it's not. But like, there's reason for them to be nervous. The fact that they got rid of Kojima and letting him walk away says it all. Because Kojima, as I've said several times now, can kick Bobby Kotick's fucking door down, be like, "Hey, dude, my name's Hideo Kojima. I want $25 million, 100 people, an office building in 4 years." And they'd be like, "Sure." And then guys from EA are gonna bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man and be like, "Oh, dude, we'll give you $35 million and 150 guys in 5 years." And then Sony and Microsoft, like, he doesn't give a flying fuck. Probably, you know, he'll be totally fine.
I want from this, all that I want is to hear Hideo Kojima say, "Hey, dude." That's it.
Yeah. He probably says it in Japanese. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, Kojima is a big deal. Kojima will work for another. Again, Greg and I talked about it. It reminds me, it's maybe a lesser of a deal, but when Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog, I can't imagine how many people were fucking tripping over themselves to hire her.
Yeah.
Like, she can go wherever she wants. And she walked into Visceral and is writing writing a Star Wars game. You know what I mean? Like, so, and a canon Star Wars game, by the way, which is like unbelievable. So he can do whatever he wants. The fact that Konami, but again, there's another side to the story that I don't think we're getting, where it's like Konami's probably looking at him and be like, Kojima costs a shit ton of money. He probably has an entourage of, presumably a couple dozen people that probably have worked with him forever that like are just, and I'm not saying they're not doing any work, but they're just there. Like they come with him, you know, and there's probably a lot of politics and internal things that we don't understand and don't know about that the Japanese media probably knows and understands a lot better than we do. So there's always another side to the story, but I understand why people are upset about this. It's just that we have to look at it from through different lenses. That Konami is a company that needs to survive. They're not here to make. They're not here to make games and be, you know, a charitable organization. If Metal Gear is not going to make them a lot of money, then why the hell do they want to do it? You know, and it's the same thing with just getting out of games completely, maybe, and getting out of software completely. It's sad to see, but the middle ground continues to shrink, and Konami is in the middle ground, just like Capcom.
Do you think there's a chance that they will back out of games and kind of sell their
Yes, I think there's
properties?
I think there's a substantial chance of that.
Do you think they'll sell their properties though? Because that's like a.
Oof. How does that even work?
I don't know. I mean,
just why would you? Like if this is something that in the future you can, if this is an area that you can re-expand into if the time comes, why would you like get rid of those properties? Who would buy them?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude,
commitment. How much money do you need?
Like. They have 3 or 4 properties that people would scoop up in 2 seconds, right? Like Metal Gear and Castlevania, there would be a huge bidding war over both of those, I think. And you also have to understand they own Contra, which is interesting. They own Dance Dance Revolution. They own like Suikoden and all these like random things. So it's like they
games.
They have games and they have back catalogs. Like to own the Castlevania back catalog would be an extraordinary thing. Like even if a company was like, we're not making any new Castlevania games, we just want all of the ones you already have. Like that would be money for years. They could just republish them and put them in collections and do all these things. I would do that if I had the money in the capital, but and I think there's money to be made there, obviously. But I think there's a reasonable path for them to exit the industry because they're letting their biggest guy go. So it's not like you don't make small games to make little bits of money. You make big games to make big amounts of money. And if they don't want to make big games with big guys like Kojima anymore, then clearly they don't think they can make money anymore in games. So I think that's a harbinger, right? Like. It would make sense if they were like, well, when Igarashi left, it was like, it was sad, but it wasn't like a big deal because, well, Castlevania lives on with Mercury Steam and you're not Kojima, you know, like you made the Metroidvania Castlevania what it is, but we can do that without you and stuff like that. And I don't think Metal Gear can live without Kojima. And I don't think that you cut off your nose to spite your face kind of thing either. Like, I just don't think it makes any sense. I want to believe, and I do believe that Konami's smarter than they seem right now, you know, that there's a plan and that we just don't understand it because we're not. I don't want to put it at such a base level, but we're not the Japanese consumer that consumes the other things they do. So this looks really bad, but I think there's more to it than that.
Cool. There you go, Colin. I love when Colin does that. When he fucking makes a point and then just
this guy fucking loves.
Like makes a thing and backs up.
Well, I let someone else.
That was your mic drop.
I talk a lot.
I like.
No, I like
it.
it though. You see, well, you always end it because you do the thing where you lie in wait. You're Batman about it. You let us go. We talk.
That's what I think.
For a while, and I see you over there biding your time.
Wait.
And then the show swings to you. You go. You deliver your thing, and you're done.
That's great.
I'm so happy to be here because, like, I love all you guys. He's one of the smartest motherfuckers in video games.
Oh, he is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
He's also one of the coolest dudes in videos. All right.
Thank you very much.
Topic number 3. I cannot wait to see what happens with this one with Colin. Are esports sports? This has been a big topic of discussion recently in video games because on ESPN they showed some esports stuff.
What they show?
Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, there you go. And it was at UC Berkeley versus someone else.
other
It was called Heroes of the Dorm, I believe.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, like what they did there.
I love that a lot.
Smart.
But yeah, so really what I want to know is, are esports sports? And why does this upset so many people? I saw there was some ESPN dude, and he's like talking mad shit. You know what happens to people that talk shit? They get shot. He didn't get shot yet, but he was like just being like,
If he gets shot, the police are gonna be rat-tat-tat.
I mean, like, no, it's a body count song.
You got
Song.
your internet fans to do it, didn't you?
But yeah, so some dude that's high up at ESPN, if I
Colin Cowherd.
yes, Colin Cowherd.
Yeah. Cowherd. He's been doing
Okay.
this stuff for a long time.
That's a shitty name.
He likes this stuff.
So he comes out and he's just like, you know, if ESPN turns into, like, if we're gonna cover video games, I'm fucking out. Fuck this shit. I don't want to work with this. And it's just like, wow. Those
I was
are
okay with it
fighting
when it
words.
was Donkey Kong, but
Yeah, well, no, even then.
No, he
didn't say
tolerated
Oh, that's
it.
what
He said
that. Yeah,
He
yeah,
said,
yeah.
he
said,
well, no,
I
no, he
tolerated
tolerated
Donkey
He wasn't
Kong.
okay with
We
it.
all did.
I know, we all, back in 1982, we all
Good
all
tolerated
you
Lord.
kids doing the Mario, get out of here.
Yeah. And so then we see the internet get kind of split. And I feel like the majority of people are kind of saying fuck him. Whether or not they care about video games or care about esports or any of that. They're just more just like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're not connected with our generation. Be positive and don't talk shit, right? Because that's what people like doing. It's, you know, the Facebook trending thing of the day. I'm like, oh, someone's saying something that sounds mean? Fuck you. But then there's the other side. I'm assuming Colin's side. They're just like, well, they're not sports. He's right. You know, and whether or not he's right, but just
That's
that
the
they're
thing
not
is that
sports.
there's a big, huge gap there, right? This is something we talked about extensively on Colin and Greg Live, and the fact that whether you want to say sports, it's a sport or not, right? It's this choice of how you're framing it, right? For this guy to come out on ESPN and be, you know, be an ESPN reporter talking shit now about ESPN and video games in general, and going after all these fans that he doesn't understand, this thing he doesn't get. That's where like there's a giant gap to jump from between. There's two questions: is, you know, how big of a dick is this guy, and then are esports sports? And that's the whole thing. Is like Colin doesn't think esports are sports, and that's fine. He's presented his case on why he thinks that, right?
I think calling them esports and not like just competitive gaming was like one of the it could have solved so many fucking discussions. Like I'm totally with you. It's like the idea of them being sports, even or that there is this area where these are like they're individual games. It's not even like every game is involved in this. They are like individual games that are like a handful, like a half dozen games that are designed in a way that makes them competitive and designed in a way where they can be leveraged into like tournament like structures. So it's not like a sport which will be around for decades. Most of these games are going to peter off and have new versions of them, or like go Counter-Strike back in the day. Like I know there's like a resurgence in Go and whatnot, but like everyone knew that Quake wasn't going to be around in the next 10 years or so, and like that fundamentally changes the person who want to like the culture of what that thing is, because it isn't something where people are like, oh, I like watching all of these. Like there are people who like watching LOL, and they're different people to the people who like watching CS.
like NBA versus WNBA.
It's like it's the idea of like
the same
forcing
game,
it as like a as
So it's not like that.
yeah. It's
So
just
I mean, all right. So
it's
humor me with
forcing
MOBAs
a
then,
circle
right?
into
MOBAs,
like a
there can
square
be-
thing or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like calling them sports attached all this like social cachet to, and they don't apply in the same way. So all it means is that we just have these endless discussions about, you know, the legitimacy of a thing that is it's a thing that people find entertaining. That's what it is.
What's weird to me is like that people get so caught up on the words of sports. Like why is, I mean, the fact that there's an E in front of it is just like, I feel that's the worst thing. Calling, if they were just sports and people like they're sports, people would be upset about that, obviously. But like, why are they not sports? What is a sport?
And that's where we get into a huge problem. And
Is
the
chess a
fact
sport?
that- exactly.
I mean, that's the thing is that, you know, I play chess. I love chess. Like and I've said before many times, chess is my favorite game. I love chess more than any video game. Chess is, according to the Olympic Committee, a sport. But that's stupid. Chess isn't a sport. You know what I mean? And like, here's the thing that we have to remember, you know, when we're trying to define things, is that the way Colin Cowherd went about it, and we talked about this again on Colin and Greg Live, is that we he was completely rude and disrespectful with what he was saying, how he was delivering what he was saying. It was totally improper. There's an incredible, and I've learned it over the years, an incredible amount of crossover between the audience that likes what traditional sporting events and video games. And I am one of those people. So I don't like hearing someone disparage someone for playing a game or lock your parents' basement. All that. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have to disparage these people because they're doing something that you don't understand, which is really what the problem is. Now, in terms of definitions, to me, a sport is basically something that's athletic, right? And so people were asking me, like, is golf a sport? And I'm like, I don't really know. Is bowling a sport? I don't really know if it's a sport or not. Hunting, racing a car? No. Here's the other, but this is why there's different degrees and different gray areas, because it doesn't disparage what it is.
Yeah.
You have to have incredible talent to play golf. You have to have incredible talent to play bowl at a high level. And you have to have incredible talent to play League of Legends at a high level. You know what I mean? So just because there's an argument about whether it's a sport or not, Colin Cowherd crossed the line because what he was basically saying was like, this shit is illegitimate. And my whole argument is no. It's just as illegitimate to shoot a puck in a net as it is to, lead your team to victory in a MOBA. Not one is not better than the other. It's just to say, like, how do we categorize that?
Yeah.
And I think that we have to look at a sport as something that is physically grueling. Soccer is a sport. Hockey is a sport. There are proper definitions of sports, obviously.
Well, so yeah, the proper definition, according to Merriam-Webster, is a contest or game in which people do certain physical activities according to a specific set of rules and compete against each other. So the thing there is the physical activity.
Sure.
But then they go on to use examples such as hunting, fishing.
No.
I mean, hunting and fishing. Yes, there is physical
different
stuff in that.
levels of
but
physicality,
I mean,
yeah.
there's still physical stuff in using a controller.
Well,
Like,
there's
at
a
the end of the
physical
day,
thing
it
with
is
literally
physical.
everything,
Yeah,
unless you're like
exactly.
sitting in a box.
So it's like
just not breathing.
But I feel like the physical
That's
thing
not a
is the
sport.
one weird question there. But like besides that, if you just read it, a contest or game in which people do activities according to a specific set of rules and compete against each other.
I guess the way to like form it is if you take out the competitive nature of it. Like a sport is something that there is a professional part of and there's also an amateur part of. I can go out and play soccer outside with my friends. Do I consider sitting down and playing Uncharted playing a sport? No.
But that's the thing though, is there traditional sports that you can do at non-competitively similar to Uncharted? You get what I'm saying? Like so because there's
like
shooting hoops in your driveway.
Batting practice.
Bowling.
Bowling. You bowl. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point in the sense that
bowling. That's a good example.
There's an interesting point in the sense that I mean, it's just one of those things about how we define words and like what things mean. And again, it's not a disparaging comment because again, being good at League of Legends takes as much talent, just a different amount of talent than being good at golfing or being good at basketball or something like that. That's just a different rule set. And in terms of the physical nature, there is stamina and agility necessary to play a shooter properly or to do all to use a mouse and a keyboard. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I just think that like we have an idea of what sports are, and a sport like when we talk about the big four in the United States: baseball, hockey, basketball, and football. Like those are physical things, like that's and this is where I kind of differentiate between maybe what I play as chess, even though people consider it a sport, and what I did as a hockey player when I played hockey. When I played hockey, I was an athlete. I worked out and I was sweating and all those kinds of things. When I play chess, I'm using my mind. You know what I mean? And I'm playing a game, and I feel like playing a video game is more of a mind game than anything else. It's something that you have to use your intelligence in. Now, that's not to say you're not using your intelligence when you play football. Football, I think, is one of the smartest games in the world, and I'm talking about American football.
Not that dummy ass.
Sorry about it. I've been here for a year and a half. I'm good with it's football. Got it.
But so it's just a level of degrees. I think that like this is all erupting because of the way he positioned himself. And I think that that's the unnecessary thing. And a friend of the show, Total Biscuit, put up a video just a day or two ago where he really, I think, explained it in very base terms, which is to say, like, no one in esports and he knows much better than I do as being a PC-centric guy, and that's where kind of esports is happening. He was saying, like, no one in esports is really claiming this is a real sport. And who cares? And that was the bigger thing. And of course, I'm reducing his video of 10 or 15 minutes to something more bite sized. But his whole argument was like, who cares? Like ESPN is entertainment and sports. I mean, that's in the name. And they put on things like poker and the spelling bee.
Yeah.
So like, why is it a big deal if they're putting on video games? You just want to disparage it because you don't understand it, and I get that. I think that something like League of Legends is incomprehensible. But that's me. And I play video games and I'm in the gaming industry. So I can only imagine what someone else watching it feels like that has no idea. But that doesn't mean it's wrong or it's bad.
Yeah.
And ESPN has a long history. In the 90s, I was watching the spelling bee on ESPN. So it's like, and it's fun. I like watching the spelling bee. There's just nothing wrong with it. And so I think Total Biscuit had a really good point when he was like, it doesn't matter. Like, ESPN's going where the money is. This is not an altruistic pursuit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to make money, and people are playing video games competitively. Do we have to figure out?
And people are watching it.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
And they're getting new advertising revenues. They're getting new, metrics in terms of the people that are watching it. Maybe non-traditional fans that don't watch ESPN. I watch ESPN every day, but there are people I'm sure watching the Heroes of the Storm on there that have never turned on ESPN in their lives, and that's a new demographic. So this all makes sense. It's just a matter of like, well, what are esports? I don't know. I agree with Danny. What Danny was saying. It should have never been called a sport to begin with because it is not a sport in the traditional sense. Do we want to expand the definition of it? Sure. And do we want to include all those things? Fine. But that's not, in my mind, in my opinion, very respectfully, I do not think that it's a sport.
See, I don't know. I disagree with that just because I think that like you're defining it by like the big four, but it's like sports also include a lot of the other ones too. Like sports does include all these other things.
And that's where it gets fishy though, because Colin's saying that like, and I'm with him, right? The fact that I don't look at esports as sports, but but I don't look at bowling as a sport, spelling bee as a sport, but they're being lumped in here too. So that's the thing. I think the definition's already broken and weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think there is an easy way to box any of this up. The fact of the matter is when you talk about it, is there a better network for any kind of competitive gaming to be on than ESPN? No.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what
that's
I mean?
a good way to put
when
it.
I heard it, I was like, oh man, what a perfect fit.
Yeah, the ways in which competitive games and traditional sports are the most alike is in how they're broadcasted, which is the weirdest thing about this, is that like no wonder he was mouthing off about how they had commentators and they were like mimicking what it's like when we commentate on real sports and stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, I guess in a way those games have sort of lended themselves, like the path that has been trodden down already, laid by sports broadcasting, is where these games went when they decided to like try and broadcast them to a wider audience. So like in that way, it perfectly fits the ESPN mold. Like it could not be a better place for them to expand. Whether or not it's a sport, like TB said,
Yeah.
But it's the same argument we always have on the internet, right? Whether it be this or console wars or whatever, the whole people are riled up, right? Because now somebody's putting down something they love and somebody doesn't understand it. Not even, I mean, we're getting hung up on the ESPN guy, but I mean, like, there were so many tweets that night, right? They got, I saw in wrap-up articles the next day, it was like, what the fuck's this nerd shit doing on ESPN? You know what I mean? Like, and then it just immediately, like, there's a dividing line of like, well, I don't even understand what a fucking MOBA is, but I'll tell you what, you are wrong, sir, and video games are up and coming, and they're bigger than movies, and there's like things, your ire starts to raise on that, to regardless, let alone, it's just like,
Yeah, it's just a way of positioning the way you speak about things, like, and I think that was the bigger thing than the point he was making. I mean, if he wants to quit ESPN, because no one's gonna make it. Colin Cowherd doesn't know anything about video games, so like, why would they? That was the confusing thing. He wasn't saying that he's quitting ESPN because they're covering. He's like, if I was ever asked to cover it, I would quit. And it's like, why would they ever do that? Like, you don't know anything about it. Like, they're gonna find the people that were commentating that are the people that would do it. You know what I mean? So like, you don't have to be. It seemed to me that he felt isolated in some strange way about this is kind of a movement on ESPN to maybe get more video games, and it's not. He's an older man now, and he's not into it. I mean, but he's entitled to his opinion. I just think you should position it a little more politely and a little less rudely, because again, I'll say it like, as someone who watches hockey compulsively, as someone who has not missed a Jets game in years, like, and watches literally 5 or 6 football games a week when it went during football season, I'm quite offended for my fellow gaming brethren when I hear someone in sports that's well respected talk about us like that, because I'm one of them. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of shit that really bothers me, because again, there's plenty of crossover between sports and games, and I see it every day on Twitter when I tweet about hockey or I tweet about football or whatever it is. So
see it on the commercials during games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Call of Duty commercial or an Assassin's Creed commercial, PS4 commercials were on during football all the time.
UFC's got Assassin's Creed stuff on it all.
So that really bummed me out, because I'm like, man, what a disrespectful thing to do. But you know what? Like many things, there's 2 different topics here, and one of them is esports a sport, and that's like a different topic, because that wasn't even what this was. I don't think this was more him being like, this shit sucks and this shit doesn't belong. And to that I say, that's bullshit. The people are speaking clearly, loud and clear. They sell out arenas and fucking coliseums all over the world, and they play these games, and they deserve a respect. And that's the way I'm coming forward with it. I'm like, just because I don't think your sport, your competition is a sport, doesn't mean I disrespect you. I just look at sports as something that is physically grueling, which this isn't, any more than when I sit down at a chessboard across from someone, I'm not breaking a sweat, and therefore it is not it's me playing a game. And that doesn't mean that chess is worse or better than football, and it doesn't mean League of Legends is better or worse than baseball. And that's the way we can't have these black and white arguments. That's the problem. And I think the Total Biscuits point, who gives a flying fuck? If this is what you like, I think Greg made the point when we were talking about it a day or two ago, which was, we want games to be called art because we want them to be taken seriously. And we get into these huge arguments. Are games art or games art? Like, who fucking cares? Do you like games or don't you like games? And if games are art to you, then games are art to you. And if League of Legends is a sport to you, then God bless you. League of Legends is a sport to you. That's...
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to have these, like, systemic arguments over definitions. We can just all have our own if we really want to. I would just prefer that we all had a unified definition.
That'd be nice. But now, real quick, too, the thing about it is if you're super offended about how this ESPN guy handled himself and everything he did, remember this next time you go to talk shit about sports. This is easy because it's the sports, which is this big mainstream popular thing, picking on video games. But I see it flipped all the time where it's Super Bowl or playoffs, and all of my video game friends are like, oh, sports ball. Can't wait to stay off Twitter. Shut the fuck up. I'm enjoying that. I don't need to hear you talk shit about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry you don't enjoy it. I'm sorry.
You're gonna get shot.
You're you are talking shit, which is going to lead to you being shot.
That's how this shit happens.
Fuck.
All right, guys.
And I worked in radio for years and years and years, and this is just like number one. This is Howard Stern. You just rile up controversy. People say your name. Next time.
Now a lot of people know this.
Now a lot of people know this guy's name. They'll forget what the thing was about.
Yeah, man, that sucks that his name's Coward.
And the one thing I want to point out real quick, and another reason why, what would Colin Coward think of Colin and Greg Live if he saw it, right? Like, Colin and Greg Live came out of my mind because I am obsessed with Pardon the Interruption and Mike and Mike. I took something out of the sports world and made it a video game thing, and it works. And we were really one of the first people to do it, if not the first people to do it. And I was inspired by sports. So why can't there be some cross-pollination and some love between the two things? And like you were saying with the commentation of League of Legends or with Heroes of the Storm or whatever, is being commentated as if it was a soccer match, as if it was a hockey game, with the same excitement and verbiage and all these kinds of things. There's a lot to be learned from these different things. We learned it firsthand with Colin and Greg Live. This is a sports show about games, or a political show about games. And so we took something from another environment, another ecosystem, and made it our own. And now these guys are doing it with that too. So he can be a relic of the past if he wants to be. He's tilting against fucking windmills because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. And that's well, you have to kind of walk away from it. Be mad if you want. I mean, that's more power to you. Everyone's mad on the internet, but but if it's
or just don't,
or just move on. And play your games and enjoy it in spite of him. Revenge is best served, Tim, when you're having a good time and you're not letting other people bother you.
As the old saying goes.
Well, no, best served cold, which is not the way I feel at all. You could feel that way. Or revenge is living well. But what I'm saying is that revenge is really something that, like, if you want to have revenge on this guy or, like, get it back at him, go about your business. And just ignore him.
Do you.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Because someone like that, as we said, loves the controversy, loves being talked about, is not going to suffer. His viewership is not going to suffer. He's speaking to his people.
There you go. All right, guys. Final topic for the day, of course, comes from the community. If you have topics for us, tweet at me at Tim Gettys, or actually just do that. Just do that.
Okay.
Just want all
Things
that
fall
love.
apart. You know what I mean? There's so much shit that we do, guys. All right, question number 1 comes from at Snarky Starky. Thoughts on something like Witcher 3 being 200 plus hours? How do people have that time? Is this too much?
I think it's awesome. I don't think many people have that time. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. I think I look back at Skyrim, right, where I put 25 hours and 30 hours in and never beat the game, right? I just went off and did my thing and then eventually got distracted and left. And is that going to happen with Witcher? I don't know. I'm excited to get Witcher and dive into that world and get lost for a while. I'm one of those guys who wants to try to do all the side quests or run off and do this or get, you know what I mean? Like, am I going to go back and do everything? I don't know.
So the most exciting thing about when I was out there in Warsaw last month and talking to these guys about the game is that the way that they're handling the sort of additive content, all that side quest or like secondary quest stuff, I think is pretty interesting, because I had the same problem with like Skyrim and like Fallout, where I was often like scared to do the main quest for fear of like not being able to do any of the side quests afterwards or how much they'd impact on it or whatnot. So like the core story in this game is going to be 200 hours. It's going to be closer to something like 40. It's got about 9 main story missions, and then each of those has got about 2 like secondary missions that split off from it, and those ones can affect the main storyline if you so wish. And if you do the next bit of the storyline, then those secondary missions have stopped. But once you complete that game, the open world is still available. You can still level Geralt. He goes up to level 50, 60. Quests go up to 50. So you can complete the game probably at like level whatever, let's say like 25. And there's still loads more to do if you want to do it. And from my time, I've only played about like 6 or 7 hours of it when I was out there. But like it was the type of thing where you would find quests off the beaten path that then turned into quest lines that kept going. So a lot of that 200 hours is not like stuff you are required to do. And what I think is most interesting about games like this, and this is why I love Fallout, is that the idea that there is that stuff to do is almost as exciting as doing it. The idea that you are playing a game and you had this great experience and you only touched about 40% of the content, that's as good as, for some people, as actually going out and playing every single ounce of the game. So in that way, I think it's
that was one of the best things about Fallout 3, right? Would be coming into the office and be like, oh, what did you do? I went and did this. Where is that? I've never heard of that or seen that. You know, and I ran into this mission. It was this robot thought he was the president. You're like, what are you talking about? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think we talk about Fallout 3 in the sense of, you know, that moment when you walk out of the vault and you see this world. And for me, that was one of the most mind-altering moments in gaming. And I played games for a very long time. As many of us have, and that experience, like I was like, holy shit, like this world, especially coming from a console background, we didn't often get games like that. It's not to say that Fallout 3 was the first, it clearly wasn't, but we don't often get games where it's like, here you go, you know, like do whatever the fuck you want. This is more of a PC heritage kind of thing, and Witcher obviously has its heritage on PC. So I'm looking forward to being filled with this sense of awe and wonder and this kind of explorative nature of like just go and do whatever you can. It's not even whatever you want. It's like whatever you can. I remember when I played the game Witcher 3 when we were fucking around with it. I walked into the woods and there was just these bandits camping. And I got too close to them and they like freaked out on me. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to fight you. And like it was too late. And I was like really just trying to like walk through. And it's like, how many of these moments are there going to be in the game that are like not even side quests or missions, but just encounters? That said, I'm always skeptical of a developer or publisher talking about how long a game is. We always on Beyond, you call it dev math, and you can typically subtract 30, 40%, sometimes 50% from a number given to you. Like when they would be like
12, 15 hours. Oh, so like 8 or 10. Got it.
Okay, got it. But there are games sometimes where I understand how you play it like that. Last of Us was supposed to be a 10 to 12 hour game. It took me 18 hours because I was like so enamored with it. I was just like running around looking at everything. I don't think this might be one of those games, but I think that Witcher 3 is going to be a game that I'm going to spend a lot of time with, and I want to see it all the way through. But I don't know how much time we're going to have to be able to do that. But there's nothing wrong with giving someone 200 hours of content in a world where people feel like they're being nickeled and dimed. Where in a world where people feel like pieces are being cordoned off, where DLC is being sold to them that should be in the main game. You cannot complain about CD Projekt Red giving you a game that is 200 hours long, even if it is dev math, and even if it's 150 hours long. You know what I mean? Or even if it's 100 hours long.
And
you know what I mean? Like it's an incredible, like it's incredible. God bless them. Congratulations to them. I feel like that game's going to be something special. Very excited about that game.
Awesome.
How do you like growing older? One of the things that I've had trouble with is finding the time for those types of games. Like when I was in college, fucking no problem. I'll just dive in and play Oblivion for like 500 hours. Like I'm just soaking up the time. I don't even need to go to college. Whereas now it's like the ironic thing of like working in games is you spend so much time making all this content and you're like, shit, I don't have any time to play any games. I gotta go home, or
somebody's like, the game's only 4 to 5 hours long. I'm like, fucking perfect.
Great.
Yes. Are you kidding me? God damn,
Journey.
yes.
Do you? Because I've literally like telegraphed this for my girlfriend. I'm like, look, we've only been living together for like 4 months. No real big games come out. Like I've been playing games here and there, and I've been like diving into Mortal Kombat and shit when you were doing your own thing. But like, I'm gonna be playing this game for like weeks, and it's gonna get weird. And it's been like a kind of I'm gonna be in my underpants. You're gonna have to bring me the nachos, and I'll just stay there. So like, how do you guys deal with that? Like, do you still have that time? Do you like see a game that's got like 200 hours and think, fuck, how am I gonna find the time?
I mean, for certain games, right? Like Witcher, it has been on the list, and I did this whole breakdown of like how I was going to spend. Like I was in the best 6 months of gaming right now, just the way all these releases were lining up. But I'm lucky enough that my girlfriend's super into gaming. Like, she's currently on the quest to beat all the Witchers before Witcher 3.
Oh, really?
She's already got 1. She's done with 1. She's into 2 now. I mean, she's crazy. But like when we came back from Mexico, I wanted to play Borderlands. She wanted to play Borderlands. So like for like a week, right? That was our dates. We'd eat and then we'd go and we'd just play there and play Borderlands or whatever. And it was great. And so like this is the same thing where we get each other on that level. But yeah, it's totally hard to fit in these games, right? Especially with everything we do and all the crap we're doing running around. And I know you're the same way. Just like, yeah, you come home, you're done with work about 6. You eat, you do the dishes. It's already 8:30, and it's like, well, how late do I want to be up? Because I have to go to the airport tomorrow at 6 in the morning. And That's why I like the Vita so much, because it just comes with me and goes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like for me, it's a hell no. I hear it's $200. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah,
not game for me. It's just not the type of thing I'm gonna do.
But it's like a special game. That's the thing.
No, for sure, I get that, but I just know for me, that's just not my cup of tea. I like the shorter games. I like all this stuff. But then when you're talking handhelds, totally different thing. Like Pokemon, I love that. I love that I can put 100 hours into a Pokemon game whenever I want, here and there, being on the airplane, doing all this stuff. And like those are games that I just get into and I'm just get lost forever. And like they give you so much side missions and so much shit like that. I love that. All about that. But yeah, 200-hour console game.
It's like an automatic no.
It's just has to
you
be the
rather
right
not
game.
try than get 3 hours in and then not have the time to.
Well, I mean that's my thing though. Is like, to be fair, I've never really gotten into a Fallout, Witcher, or like any of these type of games, just because I'm just like I know that that's not for me.
You're gonna have a great
just
retirement.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be just.
Yeah, I recommend. I don't know if Witcher is maybe the one for you, but when Fallout 4 comes out, I feel like you know because you think you know. But these games are special, you know, like you might feel like it might be more worth you playing a game like Fallout than it might be worth playing 10 other games. I mean, that's certainly the way I felt when 3 in New Vegas came out. And I think New Vegas is better than 3. Like where, okay, like I'm wiping my slate clean this month. This is what I'm playing. This is better than playing X and Y and Z on these other, you know, it's like.
Well, see, that's my thing. Like, you know, I'm a huge Metal Gear guy, huge Final Fantasy guy. And it's just like Final Fantasy 15, Metal Gear Solid 5. Well, Metal Gear first on the list for me.
That could be a 200-hour game.
But I know, and like to me, I'm like, oh god, no, I don't want that.
But
like,
you'll have to
please.
make it that way. I mean, because that's what Peace Walker was. Peace Walker, you know, I think my final game clock on it was 98 hours.
Really?
Yeah, and it was, but I beat the game in 16. I
Yeah.
was done with the story, you know, maybe even less, 12, 16, done with the story, and then it was all the side missions. I want to get an S rank. I want to unlock these people. I want to do that. But you know, what I mean, like you don't have to be that way. Metal Gear is gonna be the same way.
I hope.
I guarantee it's not gonna be like fucking 100 hours of just story.
Well, it was just 80 hours of cutscenes.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's the problem though with Metal Gear. I mean, they've described it more as like a TV season with like episodes and stuff, whereas like the other games have been movies. It's just like I like the fact that in movies I can get in and get out in 10 hours or whatever. With this, it's like to get the whole story. I'm a little worried that it won't be 200 hours, but it'll be 40 hours. You know what I mean? It'll still be like if I want to hit enough of the TV episodes to get that season feel.
You should play Quantum Break.
No.
Here's a game.
You're not gonna play Quantum Break?
No.
What? Why not?
Why?
Because
play.
Studios, TV merging with time travel and shit.
Yeah.
This guy's a hater.
No. All right.
It isn't on his precious 3DS. That's
Then
why,
it's not
ladies and
fucking
gentlemen.
worth it.
It's vaunted library.
There's
of
so many games. The Atomizer wants to know: is it ever too late for young gamers to jump on well-established series? No.
No.
No, I don't think so either.
Have you ever gone back and played a series that where you were too young to play when it came out? Or like, I've done the thing where I've like gone back and played Zeldas because I didn't have a Nintendo growing up. I grew up with like
I think Zelda's a good
Commodore
example.
Amiga, so yeah.
Well, you are European.
Indeed. There's nothing more European than owning an Amiga.
Yeah, no, there certainly is.
Yeah, it's literally girlfriend.
Yeah, I went back to Link to the Past because I was too young for it when it first came out. So I remember I first played through that on GBA when that was
a good port.
Yeah, there was that, and then the Mega Man games I didn't really even get to until more recently, like just because we've played them here and stuff. And that was just something that it's never too late to get because
it's never too late, right, to go back. But I mean, some things just don't hold up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like some kid tweeted me today, and he was like, "Oh man, all you're talking about Metal Gear's got me so stoked. So I'm backing up, and these controls suck."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid controls are not great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For like what you know now. That's
If people
true,
are looking for
right?
suggestions, Thief. Go back and play the Thief games. First two ones are
on
pretty
PlayStation
rad.
4, yeah, it was really good.
Nope. Played original Deus Ex. If you want to get all the hot not Aiden Pierce, what's his name? The Deus Ex man. If you want the rich history.
We called
Well, J.C. Denton was
Adam
the old
Jensen?
guy. Adam Jensen, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm a game history nerd, and so like I think it's important for people to go back and play games. And I disagree with Greg. I think that some games don't hold up, but many games do, and it's important
that's what
to
I
know.
said. What did I say?
You're wrong.
I said all games don't hold up.
I heard him say
that. You said
yeah.
all games don't hold up, and you can go back. Like we've talked about many times that in the polygonal era, games don't hold up, and I think that that's true because like a lot of people ask us like, why aren't you doing Let's Plays of N64 and PS1 games? And it's like we might, and I think we might have at some point. But we did Symphony of the Night and stuff like that. But
Superman 64
and Superman 64, but which was a great example. But these games typically don't hold up. They look like shit. And while I'm not a graphical guy, like these games are just relics. Like they look like relics. They look and feel even older than the games that they actually came after. But when you go back to like the NES and SNES and even old PC Apple II games and stuff like that, these games hold up actually really well. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Super Mario Brothers on NES is a masterclass in gameplay, and it always will be. It doesn't matter like what happens afterwards. This is a place in time and a group of people that figured something out that everything copies, like everything after it. When you think about Castlevania or Mega Man or all these other, these Contra, all these games, like they're all Mario, just riffs on Mario. And some might say Mario is a riff on Pitfall and so on and so forth. The only way you make these connections and know these things is if you go back and play them. And what makes me cringe is when someone old or young plays a game or gets into gaming but doesn't know anything about the history of games. You have to take the time to know. You can't know where games are right now unless you know where games have been, and it takes time and it takes effort.
That is becoming more difficult and more difficult now because there are just these, like, to use a really shitty business term, there are like verticals within gaming now. It's not the same as before where you could have this like wide appreciation of everything. Like there are plenty of people who will just play like Minecraft forever or just play MOBAs forever. Like I feel shooters, like I'm the same as you. Like I really when I meet someone who knows that stuff, like I value them so much and like I love having like conversations about that stuff. But they seem to be, that's the thing that makes me feel old and like an old gamer, is that doesn't seem to be the way things are anymore.
What's funny about that is that, and I agree with you, I don't think it is like that anymore. What's funny to me and gives me heart is that sometimes I'll talk to and interact with an older gamer that maybe doesn't know a lot about gaming history, but then I'll interact with a younger kid that on Twitter or whatever that is talking about how he just went and played Castlevania 3 or something. I'm like, good for you, man. Like that's awesome. It takes effort and time. It's like being a fan of literature but only starting in 2010.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta go back, man. Like you're missing a lot of classics here. And you understand the genome and the kind of the genetic nature of a game by going back. Like you can't know that Symphony of the Night is Super Metroid unless you played both of them.
Yeah.
And that you can't know that like that you can't know Shadow Complex is like Symphony of the Night unless you played both of them.
And expand your palette, and that makes you enjoy every new game more because you see it in the wider context and like you can see where it pulls from. Like I think it makes for a much more like enriching. Like one of my favorite things to do is to like actually put some time aside to get into a genre or a series that has been like I evaded intentionally growing up. Like, like getting into like Zelda or like trying Final Fantasies or like trying Devil May Cry. Like I think like if it's so easy to get access to like this massive library of old games now that if I was a kid who was like able to save up a bit of money, I'd be just going on eBay and getting NESs with like a bunch of different games or just getting emulators or whatever the fuck and just like soaking up this stuff whenever I had the chance because there's so much of it now as well.
Yeah, and that's the brilliant part of it. And I think that 3DS and Wii are interesting devices to me, not because of the games that are on them right now, but because they have access to all of the games that were awesome. And like you could spend $1,000 on the virtual console and like not even be satiated because there's just so many great games on there. So I always encourage people to go back. I understand if people want to, if someone wants to play just Minecraft or just Candy Crush Saga, more power to you. But if you really want to understand games, you can't understand games by playing them from 2010 onward any more than you can understand rock music by starting with Green Day. You know what I mean? At some point, you have to take the time and effort if you want to really delve into something to go back to the beginning. And I think that that's important, and it's easier to do than it ever has been. So I always encourage people, new games are great. We play games. Greg and I are definitively different in the sense that he feels like generally old game is old. And for me, like I'd rather go play Mega Man 3 than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you totally. As we very well know, I like older games way more than new games. I just keep going back and playing the old ones. But what were you going to say, Greg?
To not misrepresent my case of old game is old. I'm talking about games that I grew up in the era of. Getting into games now, different story, I would imagine. I'd want to go back and play Super Metroid. I'd want to go back and play Mario, whatever.
Yeah.
Super Mario.
Now, another way to take the question, though, is it ever too late for young gamers to jump on well-established series? I think he might be asking, like...
Yeah, we deviated a little bit.
Like Metal Gear?
Yeah, Metal Gear. Can you just play 5? Or Witcher? Can you just play 3?
Maybe
Witcher you could just play 3.
And it's like, I think it's just, it matters what the franchise is. Because Witcher, they know that a lot of the people haven't played
dude,
1
it's
and
called
2.
Witcher Wild Hunt now. It's
with the
there used to be a 3 on that logo.
Yeah.
Like they are very clear about trying to like start anew.
And that's awesome. But then you go to something like Metal Gear.
But here's Metal Gear is going to be an interesting case because this is the whole argument we always had when we did the top 25 PlayStation 3 list at IGN is that Metal Gear was a perfect 10 and we didn't put it on the list. Because my argument always was I'm building a list for you buying your PlayStation 3 and you're sitting down and you want to know what the best games are. without any other knowledge. You know what I mean? Now that said, that's how I feel about 4. I think Peace Walker is a game that I would recommend to anyone to go play, because Peace Walker isn't bogged down in the 3 games prior to it trying to tell you what the story of Solid Snake is and his relationship to Big Boss. This, you start, there's a cutscene, understand, you killed the boss, now you have the boss's voice on a thing. Is she alive? You have to find out, go on your mission. That's all you need to know. You're like, got it, done, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't know what we're getting into yet with Phantom Pain.
It's so much more complex with these, because like Final Fantasies, they're not really connected, but then they have their little weird sequels, and then like games like Fallout are like, no, like they're all riffs on the same like thing, but like I really like playing Fallout 3. If you play Fallout 1 and 2, there's actually quite a lot of like really cool references there. You wouldn't get, but like no.
I think that's the thing, is it makes the experience better having played the other ones, but I feel like majority of games, probably a high majority of games, 90% of games are designed to be able to just play that one, because that's business. You're not going to sell. You're going to sell way less if you're limiting the audience for that game. But if you are committed to all the prequels and stuff, you're going to enjoy it more. You're going to get all the references. You're going to get all that stuff. So.
You're right. It happens so much more in games as well. Like even Half-Life 1 and 2, like direct sequels in terms of story. You can play 2 and love it without having a clue what happened in the first game.
Yeah.
Like.
And I would put forth, by the way, about Metal Gear Solid 5, that there's a pretty good opportunity that you will not understand the story anymore, whether you have
played the other ones or not.
Totally. I mean, you look at the trailers and stuff, but I'm just putting it out there.
All right, cool. Dan, we got a couple questions for you.
Oh, man.
Camacross wants to know, what's the last time you cried playing a video game?
Oh, man. The first time I cried, I remember, was which is not the question you asked, was Call of Duty charging Stalingrad. The like final Russian mission when you go up to the top of the that fucking killed me. The last time I cried, god damn it, I don't know. I think that I know a couple I did do, like Depression Quest was one. I did that on a live stream as well. The like final page of that like fucking killed me, because I have a history of mental health, with depression specifically and OCD and stuff. Probably that. I can't think of any off the top of my head that otherwise I got. It's always stuff that like rings true to you personally. Like I know lots of people would like Gone Home, for instance, was like that wasn't going to affect me because the subject matter and the story wasn't something that was going to. And that's the thing that happened with games are good, still good at that. They're good at like tapping into something that's innately in you. I feel like films are better at making you empathize with characters and making you cry, and we still haven't really cracked that one. That Journey at the end kind of got to me a bit, but then I have a sort of a weird thing about death as well, that it like hit that little nerve. So probably Journey or Depression Quest, I'd say.
Awesome. Ugh. Chip the Ripper wants to know, how offended are you by Greg's UK accent?
Oi!
Well, I'm more offended by him by saying that I'm from the UK, because I'm from the Republic of Ireland, which is not part of the United Kingdom.
Damn, son. Chip the Ripper, you just got ripped.
I think he just knows that you're foreign and you'll defend how bad the oi is.
That's foreign.
And nearly put Gary Witt in a coma.
Global Aggie wants to know, how was Europe different in the early days of video games from the United States for you?
Ooh, we dipped into it a little bit earlier. There was Nintendo didn't permeate as early, because obviously like it was Japan first, then North America, and then Europe was kind of took a little bit of time. So NES was more Super NES or SNES as we say back home. Sorry, that sort of got in there. PlayStation's incredibly popular. So when the Xbox stuff happened, nobody gave a fuck. Nobody bought Xboxes. Wasn't until the 360 that got popular. But the early days stuff, you had things like the BBC Micro never made it over here. The Atari ST was huge. Commodore 64 was huge, but like way bigger over there. Like the Amiga, the Spectrum, like these were things that everyone had. So it wasn't consoles, it was computers and computer games that people had back then. PC was always massive as well. So those were the consoles. There was a degree of homogenization when the PlayStation era came in. But like for instance, like PlayStation in Ireland, it was the second highest per capita rate of consoles of PlayStations in the world. Second only to Japan was first. So that's how popular PlayStations are in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of homogenized a bit now. I still think it's more of a PlayStation thing in the UK and Ireland. On the continents, it's a bit harder to read because it was very much like a UK gets stuff first because of English language, and then it sort of slowly went into the rest. Like one of the weird ones is like Pro Evolution is super popular on the continent. FIFA is really popular in the UK and Ireland. Like what has that got to do with marketing as much as it has to do with anything else? But yeah, in the early days, it's mostly that stuff. I talk about Commodore games. Like my favorite games were Sensible World of Soccer and Cannon Fodder and stuff like that. Like games that like people over here generally didn't play. Games that eventually were ported, or some of them never did. Like Zool and James Pond. You know, games that started off.
Commodore 64 was the first console my family ever had. It was my dad's. And yeah, James Pond. My God, that Jumpman
My
shit.
God.
Yeah, Jumpman.
Those are ridiculous.
My favorite game ever during that era on my Amiga was The Secret of Monkey Island. And then and that's all how I feel so lucky in the job I do now is because you guys came on the lobby yesterday, and that was the third or fourth time we had Tim Schafer on the show, who literally is the dude who made one of the games that made me want to do this.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Pretty
we live crazy ass lives.
Totally.
All right, final question for today. It's for all three of you guys. Cody Lewis wants to know, what's it like covering a game you think sucks or not interested in?
Preview?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because you kind of want to give a game a little bit of a benefit of a doubt. You don't want to be slamming something that's early. I feel like we have a responsibility to the people who listen to us to warn them of games that are of poor quality. I think it's disappointing. But I think the thing that happens mostly, maybe you guys have been in this gig a lot longer than I have, but the thing that I've seen a lot is that the games that suck you tend not to get a lot of access to, and the games that are the most confident, we went over to play this Witcher, we went over to shoot these features, and we were in Warsaw for 4 days. Those guys know they've made a fucking great game, so they're go play it, and they're allowing YouTubers in Europe last week to just fucking play it for 15 hours, go for it. So in my experience, that's been the case where the real shitty games you just don't really see that much. Has that always been the way?
No, you'll still have to go see shitty games, and it sucks. Seeing a shitty game sucks. You know what I mean? Especially if it's preview, right? Because then I usually just clam up, do the thing, and then I'm done, and I try to just go. And then if they ask my opinion, I have to say I don't like it. Yeah. And then I get into a whole rigmarole of why didn't you like it? What didn't you like? And then I'm just I just want to go. Your game's not good. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not working. And the bigger thing is, he said a game you're not interested in. That was really the worst. Back when I first started at IGN, it was you're a reviewer, you're gonna review everything. And I've never played a game in this franchise, this genre. I'm not a fan of this genre. No, that's just now you're developing. So you're fucking. They'd give me these RPGs that are just 30 hours long on the PSP, and I'm like, this is fucking terrible, and I hate it. You know what I mean? But then you have to sit there and separate. Do I hate the game, or do I just hate the mechanics? And then is it a bad game, or is it just that I don't enjoy this kind of game? And I have to balance that. That was really hard. And then, of course, the reviews or even the previews of a game you're not interested in are always the worst, because it's so easy to be I loved this, this, and this, or I hated this, this, and this. And to be when you're in that when you're in that meaty 6.0 area, it's oh, shit, it's a game. Good fans of the genre might enjoy it. You know what I mean?
What are you calling?
Yeah, I don't have much to add that these guys haven't said already, other than to say that the beauty of Kind of Funny is that if we have to deal with a bad game, we can identify it and just not deal with it anymore, because we're kind of out of the more traditional business. So when we do Let's Plays, intentionally of some bad games, typically something like Superman 64 or whatever, to show wow, look how bad this game is. But generally to celebrate games we like. And that's kind of and so while we warn people about games that we don't like, as Danny was saying, it's almost like something that's telegraphed now, where it's well, we can maybe say that we didn't cover this game because we don't like it and we don't really have anything positive to say about it, or you can just kind of focus on these games that we know we do like, and so and you can kind of risk it with these other games we don't talk about. I think the only game we spent a lot of time with that we didn't really like was The Order.
Oh, right,
And I think that's probably fair to say, right? I mean,
even that I didn't hate.
I didn't hate it, but I think that game was a massive disappointment.
Sure. I remember meeting you at we ended up bumping into each other at a couple of different press ones, and that was a game that I fucking did not like for whatever reason. From the jump, I just did not like it, and I was pretty vocal about it because I was sure that I really did not like this game. But you're right; it's the stuff where you're kind of just disinterested in it.
It's just a middling.
And it's interesting you brought up the stuff's being telegraphed in a way. This E3 is this kind of relic of old, where the press are going to play these games and we'll get early previews, and then we go and report on them. We tell people what they like, but especially the space you guys work in a weird way, the script has been flipped, because the games that you guys want to play are the ones that are doing really good on Greenlight, and the ones that are having good early access, hype around them. So in a weird way, and I definitely feel like it when we do GameSpot plays on the site, is that we're being informed by the masses in a way. Those games are surfacing now, the good ones. So it's not like before, where publishers would present this platter of games and you're ooh, which ones would you like to taste today? It's now it's oh no, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one. Check them out.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, that's what's kind of satisfying about the space, is we don't necessarily have to persist in the space where we have to be all encompassing.
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. Well, guys, that was the first ever episode 18 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
I'm back on board. I'm back on
Yeah,
board.
good.
Sorry.
Good.
I'm
I knew
sorry.
I'd win you over. I knew you'd win over. Thank you guys so much for your time. Until next time, I love you.